The story of Idi Amin, a dictator's rise and fall. Idi Amin was one of Africa's most notorious and controversial leaders. His reign as the president of Uganda, 1971-1979, was marked by extreme violence, human rights abuses, and international intrigue, but it also had a certain tragic complexity that has captured the world's attention. His life story is one of rapid rise, brutal rule, and eventual exile. Early life and rise to power. Born around 1925 in the small village of Koboko in what was then British-controlled Uganda, Idi Amin came from a poor family. His exact birth date is often disputed, and much of his early life is shrouded in mystery. Amin joined the British colonial army in the 1940s, where he rose through the ranks due to his physical strength, loyalty, and aggression. After Uganda gained independence from Britain in 1962, Amin remained in the Ugandan military and became involved in the political turmoil that characterized the post-colonial period. He initially served under Uganda's first president, Milton Obote, and became a close ally of him. However, Amin was a man of ambitious desires, and in 1971, he staged a military coup against Obote while he was attending a Commonwealth summit in Singapore. Amin's dictatorship. Once in power, Amin declared himself president and quickly consolidated his rule. He was known for his erratic behavior, charisma, and ruthlessness. His rule was marked by widespread atrocities, and he became infamous for his violent purges of perceived enemies. 1. Human rights abuses. Amin's government is estimated to have been responsible for the deaths of between 100,000 and 500,000 people, although the exact number remains unclear. His victims included ethnic groups such as the Acholi, Langi, and Banyankole, along with political opponents, intellectuals, and anyone who challenged his regime. He also targeted Uganda's Asian community, particularly Indians and Pakistanis, who were expelled from Uganda in 1972. His actions were a reaction to Uganda's economic difficulties and his belief that the Asians controlled much of the country's wealth. This led to economic collapse as the skilled professionals and business owners were expelled, severely crippling Uganda's economy. 2. A cult of personality. Amin cultivated a personal cult of personality, often referring to himself in grandiose terms such as His Excellency, President for Life, and King of Scotland. He surrounded himself with lavish displays of power and often issued bizarre proclamations. For example, he once declared himself the conqueror of the British Empire and the last King of Scotland, despite being of no royal descent. His military ranks and titles became increasingly absurd, with reports of him having 50 generals despite the country's lack of a strong military infrastructure. 3. International relations and paranoia. Amin's rule was marked by paranoia. He frequently purged his military and political rivals, believing that they were plotting against him. He also enjoyed playing political games on the international stage, often shifting alliances between the West and the East during the Cold War. He initially sought to gain favor with Western powers but later embraced more radical Arab and Soviet support, despite maintaining ties with certain Western countries for a time. Downfall and exile. By the late 1970s, Uganda's economy was in shambles, and Amin's brutality had alienated many within the country and abroad. His regime faced mounting resistance, and in 1978 he invaded neighboring Tanzania in an attempt to annex the Kagera region. The military campaign was disastrous for Uganda. Tanzania, under the leadership of Julius Nyerere, retaliated and launched a successful counteroffensive. The Tanzanian military, along with Ugandan exiles, entered Uganda and captured Kampala in April 1979, forcing Amin into exile. He fled to Libya and then to Saudi Arabia, where he lived in obscurity for the remainder of his life. ***Life